I tweeted.
You are live.
What's up, bitches? Welcome back to Bitch with Comrade Misty. I am Comrade Misty, and today I'm very excited. We have this is our first time getting together to do something. I'm pretty pumped about it. And it's we're both from the Midwest, so this will be a Midwest bitch fest. It'll be fun. Nice. So Aly Alexandra, welcome to the show, sister.
Look, Misty's got good internet.
What? My background.
Misty's got good internet.
I have good internet.
I know.
You guys.
Look at the clarity.
Look at me. Look at me, y'all. You can see me. It's seriously, you guys. I don't know if you guys know this. We could bitch about this. It has been a road getting just decent internet. Ask Sleepy Josh. My internet was legitimately terrible.
It was like dial-up. It was bad.
Yeah, it was bad. Wow. Bad. My house is like not super old, but it's like old, 68, I think. So yeah, we had shit internet, and now I have decent internet, and I cannot tell you how happy I am about that.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
That is exciting.
Okay. So what are we going to bitch about?
Man, well, first of all, let's bitch about the fact that I still haven't really learned how to use OBS because my background is flipped around. That's okay, though. That's okay. No, we're not really going to bitch about that today. But I was like, I got this ready one of these days.
Dude, I'm really bad at that shit, too. It's all right.
Man, I was going to ask you. I don't know, like, who picks the topics to bitch about? Like, does it just depend? Like,
usually it just starts kind of like this, where there's like awkward rambling at the beginning, and then we kind of fumble into something that pisses both people off, and then it just starts, and then it just goes. That's usually about how it works out. You know what I mean?
What I'm seeing, like usually when I tune in, it's like halfway, and you're already like you're mid bitch.
Already fully into like full into bitch mode. Yeah, but I'm like I'm an awkward person, so it's the front end of this is always a little weird. Usually I ramble too much for the intro. I've had multiple people make fun of me in the comments, like your intro is longer than blah 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 blah. I get it, y'all. I'm an awkward rambler, and that's just take it or leave it, bitches.
Satchel of Richards.
Yeah. Find something else to watch if it bothers you. Jeez Louise.
Well, we can bitch about this. We'll just start out because the trolls. You really do have a ton of trolls. So what's that like? Let's bitch about that.
I bitch about this a lot. And I'm always down to bitch about it. But honestly, it's like this weird, like sometimes it's just really depressing. Sometimes it's fucking hilarious. Sometimes, honestly, I can say that it's never like bothered me, like made me feel bad about myself or anything like that. Cause I don't take these people seriously in any way. So, they make it impossible for me to take them seriously. It's ridiculous what they do.
Like just I don't know, like the time that's spent following people that you don't like, that just doesn't compute with me. I don't understand. You don't have much time on this earth, but I don't know. I guess if they get your view count up, then fuck it.
I know, right? And engagement's always helpful. Thank you. You boost me in the algorithm a little bit. I appreciate you. It's fine. The more you tweet at me and tweet about me, the more people, it's fine. Do that. Please, by all means. I can't imagine, honestly, spending that much time on somebody I don't like.
Very weird.
Why? Like I get like getting into little, like you get into beefs with people on Twitter or whatever.
That's the time for that.
Just to follow somebody around. Like I get getting into fights with people. It happens. Like things get heated on Twitter. But then to follow somebody around and like stalk their timeline. Literally, there have been days that some of these people, like 85% of their content is them tweeting about me or retweets or usually it's screenshots. Dude.
Yeah, they get you on the screenshots.
What? Why? Just
like they got receipts.
Really? That you're focusing on me? What the fuck is wrong with you? I have no power. I'm in no position to like affect change or write legislation, or I'm just like I say, I can hear Fiorella and Pasta laughing at me right now. I'm just some chick from Ohio. Legit.
So that's how I feel. I'm some chick I'm originally from Indiana, so you got Ohio kind of do, but like from Chicago, like I'm just, people are like, oh, that's cool. You said, I'm like, you want to hear from me? Okay. I'm not even kidding. So like sometimes when people want to talk to me about stuff, I'm like flattered, but I don't know. Like I'm just some chick from Midwest, but okay. So but I really like your style because you're extremely like blunt. It's nice. It's refreshing.
I just don't have a filter.
Like I mean, I guess I can bitch about that too. Like it's not specifically related to just like this space, but just in general, there's this thing now where a lot of people, they talk like this. Like everything is like a question. I don't know. I was just dealing with that all day, like with work, so it was just pissing me off. Everybody talks like this and like just like goes roundabout ways of talking and like
Yes.
just blunt. I don't know. Yeah.
Yes. No, that I hate that too. And I don't understand it. That's like things that don't compute. That doesn't compute with me. Like I just tell me. Just tell me. Yeah, like I don't need all the fluff and stuff. Just say it. It's so much easier. I hate like I'm supposed to like try to figure out little signs and passive aggressiveness.
Right, yeah.
And
like, I don't know
just fucking say it. Jesus.
Right?
It's why are we complicating things? It's ridiculous. And
it's
like the whole intention is so that you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings or whatever. It's more offensive to me to like be weird about it. And,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just like, cause like my day job too, we just had all these meetings today about, of course, like just like woke diversity shit, which is great. But then it was like, I learned that there's something called empathy gyms. I don't know if you've heard of those.
No.
Empathy gyms are a real thing.
What the fuck is that?
That's what's going on in corporate America right now. It's where you go exercise expressing how you
empathy?
feel. Yeah. Like just like trying to relate with others. Yeah, it was an hour and a half of my day that I spent learning about empathy gyms. Fucking empathy gyms. I had to turn my camera off, honestly, because I was like, my face is, I can't hide it. So I
don't even know what to say about that.
I know. And healing, corporate healing circles. I mean, can you think of a better place to heal?
Wait, what the fuck is a corporate healing circle? What is that? What, is
that was
that
my
a thing?
Day. It's a thing. Oh, it's
what?
a thing. I mean, they call it just a healing circle, but it's a corporate healing circle.
Oh my god, I've been out of the corporate world a long time, and I'm never been happier about that in my life.
Yeah, I can't even. I can't.
See if I make it 7 more months.
Corporate healing circle.
Yeah.
There's really no better healing environment than corporate America. Right? I mean, that's really, I can't think of a better place to explore, pain and heal. I can't, that's great. Right. That's great. Everybody should do that. Therapy should take place in like some corporate building somewhere.
Right.
In a cubicle.
Oh yeah. Or from a little Zoom room. Somebody asked during a meeting today if we're all getting free ergonomic chairs.
You should totally ask for that shit, man.
I should actually give me my fucking ergonomic
Unionize and get yourself a chair, girl.
Do it. I should, damn it.
Chairs for all.
I hope that's what I'm saying. I hope everybody learned something from that. An empathy gym and a healing circle. So yeah, that was my day.
Oh,
yeah.
I can't even with this shit.
Another thing, I can bitch about a lot of shit. Now I know we all talk about this kind of, but like lately it's just getting out of control. And something that I think I really like about you and just kind of the whole crew, and I was really surprised to find it, was like the whole notion of that like you're a fucking fascist or Nazi if you speak to anyone that maybe thinks slightly differently than you. Because like I was like kind of ostracized since like 2016. So I was like, sweet, like I'm back. Like I distanced myself from a lot of the left because I found that, like if you are down to just like talk about the truth and like try to find the truth, even if it's uncomfortable or not what you want it to be, I'll fuck with you. But right. Jesus, like, so a lot of, being kind of new to this space and just seeing like the pettiness within independent media. And I know I'm not much different bitching about it than everybody else is, but like, fuck, like people really just like fixate on that. Like, well, I won't talk to this person because they're adjacent to this Nazi that like said this in 1955. It's just like, how do you keep up? I can't.
And it's the most self-defeating thing I've ever seen in my life. These people don't care about actually getting anything done. They cannot possibly actually give a shit because there's a whole lot of space. I say this all the time. There's a lot of people in between like Bernie Sanders and literal Nazis. Like there's a whole lot of people floating around in here that we should be able to have conversations with. It's fucking ridiculous to say that we can't talk to people. We should be talking to people. And it's right. First of all, I don't need a mom. Like I have one. It's fine. I can talk to whoever the fuck I want to. Second of all, it's to me, it's the height of white privilege to like wash your hands of racism, and I'm not going to deal with that. I'm too good for that. I'm not engaging in that space. It's our fucking job as white people to use our privilege and our ability to walk into white spaces and talk to people. And our people are going to, like, I say this all the time. I know I sound like a broken record, but I live surrounded by Trump supporters, and they're not like terrible, horrible, evil, irredeemable racists. Are they casually racist at times? Absolutely. Will I call that out every single time I see it? Absolutely. But that doesn't mean that I can't have conversations with them. That's right. I'm a white person. I can do that. And that it really, and if you're not like grown enough to be able to talk to people you may not agree with, that's fine. But stop shitting on the people who are willing to do that. Yeah. It's a huge difference between having conversations with people I don't agree with and like literally aligning myself with actual Nazis. I'm so tired of that shit being thrown around. Fascist and Nazi. It's just tossed around. Really, you're going to call me a free speech advocate and activist, fascist?
Fascist. Yeah, no, all those people, those same people, I can bitch about this for days. Forever? Yeah. Is all the motherfuckers that voted for Biden. And if you're watching and you did vote for Biden, I don't get it.
No.
Because fuck no. He's a fascist. I mean, I hope everybody's enjoying this. I mean, I'll never forget. I always tell this story, like the day that the AP called it for Biden. I was at home, and I grew up in Indiana, so tons of Trump people, there. But in Chicago, it's liberal haven, like the best kind of real, you know what I mean? Like
I'm just outside of Columbus, same deal. So I get it.
Yes, yeah. So here, I remember specifically that Saturday, I just started hearing cheering. It was like 10 in the morning. I was sleeping. I was like, what the fuck? And then I was like, oh my God. And I heard people like, oh, he won. But I was like, oh. I mean, fuck both of them. But I remember like going outside after everybody was just partying in the streets, like waving their Biden flags.
Can you imagine?
Like, free. I was like, oh my God, you have no idea what's coming. You have no idea what's coming.
And celebrating Joe fucking Biden.
Well, he's not Trump. We're free.
I don't even know what the psychology is behind that. Cheering for Joe Biden. Oh, he's a next level scumbag.
No, he truly is.
Come on.
I mean, the beautiful thing about Biden, though, is that he's so, I mean, how he started out, like, I like to look at old videos of him, just the shit that he says, because he actually does. He's so stupid and pompous and arrogant that he will say the quiet part out loud a lot of the time. So, like, I found all these old videos of him talking about actually how politics works. He's like, you have to go prostitute yourself out. I'm like, thank you, Joe. So I'm just, like, posting all of these, like, I, like, send them to my friends that are, I mean, I have some liberal friends, and I'm like, we just don't talk about the shit because they're going to get upset every time. But I do send them stuff pretty frequently.
Yeah.
Like, they'll usually be like, are you going to go do your conspiracy stuff? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go do my conspiracy stuff. But they're old friends. But anyway, I send them those clips all the time, and I'm just like, enjoy it, because people, it's just funny seeing like there's this Twitter account. It's called like Biden voters like posting their L's online. And it's just all these different.
I need to follow that.
Yeah, you do. Oh, you do. Because it's all these people just saying like, right.
Yes, it is.
Actually,
that one pisses me off. That one pisses me. Yeah, yes, it fucking is. That is Joe Biden has been in politics. He's been a public figure in politics for nearly 50 years. You knew exactly who the fuck he was. He's never hidden it. He has always been like a really overt piece of shit. Openly racist, openly authoritarian, openly like just douche canoe. And you're going to try to pretend like you didn't know? Really? Oh, right. Fuck off.
Right.
Fuck off. You don't get to say that. No. Oh, that one makes me so mad. You knew exactly what you were getting. I mean, I understand that there are some like normies who watch MSNBC and think that Joe Biden is like, Bernie Sanders said he was a good guy. Like Bernie Sanders seems nice. Cool. Yeah. So I bet Joe Biden's probably okay. So those people I get, but the people on Twitter who like are in our spheres who are, oh, fuck off. No.
They just like cling to it. And it's this weird, it's just, I mean, both sides cling to politicians, and you know me, I'm pretty much over electoral politics. I understand like at a local level, it could be
yeah.
Like, sure. But like I find myself, finding it harder and harder to kind of like reason with people that still only believe in electoral politics, and they won't even talk about like any other ideas outside of it. And they're just like, well, just Biden needed to calm things down. He just needed to like lower the temperature. But yeah, right. The fucking world's on fire. And I'm not saying it was great under Trump, but like, was Biden really the lesser of two evils? I think not. Yeah, he wasn't. There, no. I said it.
No,
he wasn't.
No, it's not even close.
No.
Honestly. And I'm fully aware that I'm going to get shit for that. And I really don't fucking care because I'm right. Deal with that. You need to like deal with that. Trump was not the lesser of two evils here. He is an unbelievable, like dumpster fire of a human being. You know what I'm saying?
He's a blowhard. I mean, he's a real estate magnate, right? Like he's, again, what did you think you were getting with him?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The Trump supporters, really? That was your guy? This guy who like was born with a golden spoon in his mouth and shits on a golden toilet, and you think he's in your corner? Come on, be smarter than that. That guy was never on your side. That dude's been on his side and his side alone for his entire life. Like he considers no one else but himself. He is like the quintessential narcissist.
The thing is, though, I mean, and there's, of course, a million other factors. And I mean, he's part of it all, too. Having said that, because he's such a narcissist in like a different way, I feel like, than most politicians. He has different interests, I would say, like financial interests. I think we actually had more of an opportunity to like push things on him because he wants to be loved. He wants to be known. So if he can do something that the people, his people think is like great, I feel like he will do it. Like, honestly, I'm going to get so much shit for all this for the last even 5 minutes, by the way. But honestly, like he used that narcissism like to your advantage. Whereas like Biden, he's of course concerned with his legacy, but he's just a front man for a group of people that have it's far beyond like the self. It's about advancing their group, their agenda. It's, I feel like we could have had more time to delay all this shit. If he had won, honestly. I mean, of course, there are other factors, but
and it's also because people were paying more attention with him.
Exactly.
And so Joe Biden's president, and we have like CNN and AP doing stories about the color of Joe Biden's scrunchies,
right?
And their dog peed in the hallway at the White House. Breaking news.
Right. I found a fucking article where somebody wrote about this. This is a real article. I think it was on Salon, I believe. It was talking about how it's traumatic for employees at the White House to have the dog. I don't remember the dog's name right now.
I don't either.
It's just escaping.
It doesn't fucking matter.
Should I know the dog's name?
Right.
At all. But anyway, that was an article like that the dog needs to go home. I'm like, what? I mean, and let's say this, and that's like my big focus is just like the narrative management and mainstream news, just because like I like to write like longer form articles, but like these days I haven't had the time. So what I like to do is just look at what's the mainstream saying and then just kind of like decipher that and like share it, because the narrative management's like on full force right now with Joey B and
that's like the front line. That's what I don't know how to get people to understand that, because it affects everything. Narrative management, like the way that they are able to control the story and what we hear and what we know. I don't know if anything could bring that to more of the forefront than what's happening in Israel and Palestine right now.
Right.
Because look at the fucking propaganda you are seeing right now. It's it's always that Palestinians were killed. But Israel's being attacked. Like it's not like it's the same way they do police brutality stories here. You know what I'm saying? It's this unbelievable victim shaming, just bullshit. And that's what I'm talking about. We deal with that on every single issue. A huge part of the reason why we don't have Medicare for all is because like people like Wendell, I think his name's like Wendell Potter. He's like this whistleblower reporter or something. I don't know. I always forget his name. But he's like a whistleblower who came out, used to write propaganda for health insurance companies, misleading the American public about the Canadian system. And that's a huge part of the reason why we don't have Medicare for all. It's the same way with the wars that they lie us into. It's the same way with fucking everything. The fact that we have to argue about $15 an hour minimum wage in the year 2021, that's an insult.
I know.
But it's because the propaganda that they're able to get away with that shit. It is, we cannot deal with anything else unless we deal with that. And
exactly. And it's so, I mean, you know, it takes a while, I think, to learn, like, you know, you start to spot the patterns. That's how I think I suck with details, but I can see, like, you know, big picture. I'm like, okay, that's a pattern there. So eventually it's like, there's a crisis, you know, not much longer after there's a remedy to the crisis, usually involving some kind of legislation that's going to limit our freedoms, whatever freedom we have. But you know what I mean? And yeah, what's happening right now, and what's been happening for a long fucking time, my whole life, I would say. It's the same thing. And then that's the remedy, and then people accept it, and then another thing happens. Like, I keep seeing now all this news and propaganda about how I think you actually posted this article.
Probably.
Now that things are opening up, people should be wary for a looming terrorist attack.
Yeah.
Right? I know, because I'm like, it's nice. Sure, I'm glad to see everyone's happy. I'm just like waiting for the other shoe to drop. And I know.
Yeah, waiting for the false flag or whatever that's probably coming to take away more of our rights. It pisses me off because it's so fucking obvious what they're doing.
I know. Like, please,
seriously,
you have nothing to lose. Just like for a day, just like maybe take your mind out of that,
out of the box, just for a tiny bit. Step away from all your preconceived bullshit. Just take a deep breath and shake it off, and then look at things objectively. It's not like we don't have a shit ton of evidence that they do this all the time. How many, I say it again, I say this all the time. How many times does your government get to lie to you before your sense of skepticism kicks in?
Right.
How many times does it take? I'm just curious.
It's a very abusive relationship. Any other relationship, I feel like, honestly, like, you would be questioning it. Like, okay, they lied to me like 400 times about this. I have proof, like, in front of me. I've got receipts that they've been lying to me. But I'll stay. And I get it. It's hard to leave. I mean, it's fucked up to say, but it's true.
Yeah, but
like,
come on.
Well, what's your solution? Well, I don't know, but we'll get there later. I just need people to, like, and I get it. It takes a while to get there, but I've really
there's actually there's a great Malcolm X quote about you have to wake people. I'm going to butcher this. I was trying to look it up real quick, but you have to wake people up before you can like fight for anything. You can't lead like sleeping people into a battle against, you know what I'm saying? So we have to get people to recognize the bullshit before we can ever address the problems. I mean, we still have people thinking that like libertarians, like just like normal libertarians out there are like scary people that we should never talk to. And y'all, like a normal everyday, like libertarian, that's not my enemy. Like my enemy wears like a $5,000 suit, sits in a boardroom. You know, that's who I'm worried about. But that's not what anybody's focused on.
I know people are like, libertarians are the reason we're at where we're at. I'm like, why? I guess I thought it was like we were still blaming that on the Republican Party alone. I didn't know that we'd also move to libertarians. I mean, yeah,
it's everybody I don't agree with.
Like, yeah, pretty much.
Everybody, literally everybody. If you do not fit inside my little box of beliefs, I cannot talk to you. We cannot work together on anything. I can't associate with you. I can't be seen in like a picture with you. I can't breathe the same air as you. I can't be in the same Twitter thread as you. It's seriously, it's this whole crazy thing. There are lots of people. I don't agree with anybody 100% of the time. No one, not even myself.
Right,
I mean,
right.
You know, and so it's fucking ridiculous to think. What you just want? Do you want to just sit like in your safe space and feel superior to everybody else? Is that all that you're doing? Because I want to get shit done. And if that means I have to like talk to people that maybe I disagree with on a multitude of issues and maybe don't even really like, if working with them gets the thing done that I want done, I'm going to fucking do that.
Right. That's
what's wrong with you.
I don't know why
you don't want Medicare for all. You don't want to end the wars. You don't want to end police brutality. Like, because you're never going to end it if you just sit there like looking down your nose at every single person who's outside your little bubble.
That's what I hate. It's like the snobbery that comes with it. I really don't like that. And I'm sure I can come off, you know, snobby at times, but fuck, like you talk to me about whatever. I'm like repulsed by that. This attitude of like, yeah, we won't talk to this person. They're not, you know, verified or whatever. Get the fuck out of here. What are you actually doing? helping get a
Nothing.
story out, for example. Just there's like various stories that people won't touch. Obviously, Julian Assange for a number of reasons, but
we could bitch about that for like a whole hour.
Oh yes, yeah, that's what I'm waiting. I see the little picture in the back. I'm just getting the petty shit out of the way first. No, but like people, I'm not. I think a lot of it has to do with like people not really knowing like who they are or even what they stand for. Because if you've been, and it's easy to become like victims like of this. Like you have to kind of wake up, and that's not always easy, especially these days. But like you're conditioned to think a certain way. And you sometimes I feel like don't even know why you're thinking it or why you're like, why am I following this? I think there's a lot of that. And so people project or they're like scared almost when they encounter somebody that doesn't fit exactly what they've been told this, said person is like. And I really want that. I hope that changes. I don't know. Cause I don't think it's always been like this.
They're very, very good at propaganda. They're really good. And you're right. We are force fed that shit from birth. Like the minute you come out of the womb, you are fed a narrative from every direction. It's everywhere. And you're right. It's really, it's scary. I think that's why I try to be patient, but I can't be patient because we're out of fucking time. But I get it. Like it's weird I've never bought into the bullshit. So I never had to have that reckoning of like, oh my gosh, like everything. But I get that like everything I ever was taught is a lie. That's scary. Yeah. That's a lot to fucking take in. I get that. But we don't have time for that shit anymore.
Yeah.
We don't.
I'm trying to go down the lane of, being patient and like just showing examples. I'm trying, but it's my patience is wearing thin. But only because I know that there are tons of people out there who, if they're told that they're wrong, especially in a certain way, they're going to just shut down and get defensive. And so I'm like, okay, I'll try a different way. And the problem is that it's like very, very slow. We don't have a lot of time. And there's some people that it's not even worth it. But I really like to stick more to just talking about like just having stuff that like that you can back up. Like people, like for instance, like the World Economic Forum talking about those issues within all that, those creepy people and what they're doing. People will say that's a conspiracy theory. No, it's not. Here, go to the website. I'll show you. Look at their YouTube videos. They're talking about it. They can't say anything back to you. Yeah. So I like to focus on that where essentially you can maybe like agree with it, I guess, if you're into that, but you can't say that I'm just like fabricating shit and like, being a conspiracy theorist. And that's another fucking label that I hate. Cause also, side note, conspiracies were fun back in the day. Like they were fun. I mean, now that like
I still think conspiracies are fun. Like, and there are still there are, and by conspiracy I just mean the made up definition of it, where it's like this crazy idea that couldn't possibly be true, because that's not actually what a conspiracy is.
Right.
But yeah, like there are some really out there conspiracies, but even those ones are pretty fun. Like it's it's like reading your horoscope. Like I don't believe in fucking astrology, but reading my horoscope every once in a while is kind of fun. Like getting my tarot cards read or whatever. It's fun. It's entertaining. It's whatever. It's the same fucking thing.
I like the trades. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, okay, I like those, but the actual horoscopes probably not accurate.
Yeah, like it's just fun. Like it's fun. It's okay to just. But yeah, I don't know. It's
wild. I have odd hobbies. Like I truly just enjoy reading like the news every day, not because I want to. I think I'm actually going to learn anything aside from the fact like, okay, this is what they're saying. Like it's kind of like.
You mean like mainstream shit?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Like I want to know what messages they're getting out there to people, right? And like how to decipher through those to tell those same people, like, hey, remember when they told you this might happen last time in the same way and it didn't happen that way? Like, so it can work every now and then. But I've just noticed lately people really like calling me a fascist, so I'm all about it. I can't even get.
Welcome to the Fash fam, Aly.
It's good to be here, really.
Yeah, it's really the best fam ever. I mean, it's just, you're right though. I think people are very uncomfortable when somebody attempts consistency. And I'm not saying I'm perfect at all in any way.
Look at my fucking background. Maybe get that right. I'm not.
But I just mean like I'm gonna get shit wrong and I'm gonna say some dumb shit, and I'm a fucking human being, and I'm just some chick from Ohio. I'm an expert on nothing. I don't know why anybody cares why I say anything ever. I don't know why people give a fuck what I think. Honestly, I do this because a couple different reasons. One of which is that I felt bad for my husband because he had to hear me rant all the time. And so I thought maybe if I like do this with other people who, because my husband follows politics, but he's not as into it as I am. And so, that's part of the reason why I started this. The other part of the reason I blame Steve for, because they got me to do like a guest host thing on Action for Assange. And then Steve and Andrew are like, hey, we really like you. You should be a guest, like a recurring host or whatever. And then it like snowballed. But so those are really my two reasons. But legit, like I don't know why anybody gives a shit what I say about anything.
That's how I feel. That's how exactly. I'm like, when Steve asked me to come on Slow News Day, I was like, huh?
Called anger translation. We need us on the outside need anger translators, and you guys are good at that.
Oh,
thanks. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take it. I mean, if my ranting helps, like helps you feel better, okay.
Right.
I just do. Honestly, I'm selfish. I just do it for me. Real talk. You know.
I just So thanks. I'm glad.
Like okay, I have a confession. I have a comrade confession. Okay, here we go. So I would say probably like a month ago, I've been doing like shows or whatever for a while. It was just like a month ago that I realized that I have never once thought, I wonder what my audience would want me to ask, or I wonder what other, like, I'm so selfish that like I had never, it was all like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just being real with you guys. Like, and I'm like, oh, maybe I should, but I've never thought of this as like, a show or like, like it's like,
you're like looking at your comments. Like, I mean, I'm like learning just like different things. I'm like, oh shit, like these people, like, sorry, I didn't mean to not look at the comments. But like, I can't multitask. That's why. It's not because
I'm
like,
terrible. Like
I'm so bad
on a live stream. Oh, I can't because I'm talking to you.
I know.
And so I have to like focus on our conversation. And if I try to like read comments, I'll be like, what did you say? Huh? Who? What? I can't. I don't know how people do that. I need like somebody to read comments for me and like grab like good ones.
I haven't seen any questions yet. I'll shoot them to you.
That's good. I don't know. Do we have any trolls? Because those are always fun to
no trolls today.
Pick around. Oh man, I think I got them. I think because I thank them for like the engagement and the view counts, and I think they were like, oh,
I guess we're actually helping her.
Yeah, maybe we should not. Also, how lame do you have to be? Really?
There's a lot of lame people out there, though. I just I don't know. I usually ignore it because I mean, again, it's like
I try honestly,
but every now and then I engage, and then after I'm like, God damn it, why did I do that? Because I'm all pissed off over like someone I don't know, we'll never meet. But fuck off.
Yeah. Right, and most of my trolls are like these low-level losers who like they don't even get like double-digit likes on any of their shit or like them bitching about me. And if I interact with it, it gets eyes on it, and that's what they want. And they're full of shit. Like they just lie and make shit up and then play victim. And I don't have time for that shit. I have other things to do, and they're not worthy of that amount of time and attention. It's really hard because they are relentless. They follow me around. They will like engage with other people in my thread and like start shit with them. And I'm like, what is wrong with you?
It's so weird. Like, honestly, it's something about you. I don't know. I've just noticed like with you, and you're in like every little collage. The collages kill me. Like look at you. You spent an hour going around and taking screenshots of other people that you don't know, but that you're mad at, and you made a collage. And you
time on that shit.
That's like right. Like you're putting in a hard time on that. Like what the fuck? That's
these people like collect screenshots. Like they're and it's funny. There's some of these people who I will tweet something, and within 10 minutes they have already screenshot it and tweeted it, and it's like really like I just tweeted that. Are you like do you have like hardcore notification set where like your phone goes off if I tweet something?
Probably.
Like what?
Probably.
Oh,
really?
They got that bell on. They got that shit on.
Get a plant. Jesus Christ. Get a fucking plant.
What have you found like typically when like out of all the tweets that you post, like what do people react to the most usually with yours? Have you noticed it, or is it just all of them?
No, honestly, I mute a lot of those people because again, not worth my time. And if I see that shit, like the snarky bitch in me is gonna want to, you know, kick them around for a little while, and because they ask for it, man. If I can like hone my snark a little bit and have some laughs at your expense, fine, fuck you, you know. But yeah, I try, like, I mute most of them. I have a couple of the worst ones blocked, which they think is hilarious because they seem to think that if somebody blocks you on Twitter, that's infringing upon your First Amendment rights, which is hypocritical of me as a free speech activist.
Oh,
Which
yes.
homies, me blocking you on Twitter has no effect whatsoever on your right to free speech. You can still say whatever the fuck you want. I just don't have to see it.
Yeah,
see how that works?
fine.
You see how that works? You can still say whatever the fuck you want about me. Go for it, homies. I don't give a shit. I just don't have to see it. That's, you know, see how that works?
Yeah, there are a couple out there that have said that shit, like something along those lines. Because I mean, somebody, like there's a couple trolls which like remembered shit that I was saying line for line, and I was like, oh, that's very weird. Just like talking about, I'm also free speech absolutist. Like, and a lot of people don't agree with that. But honestly, if you don't have that, then you don't fucking know what could happen down the road.
Hello, so, look at what's happening now.
Right.
Look at what's happening now. Do you see the anti-protest laws in 34 states across the country? Do you see the anti-BDS laws that they've been trying to pass for a long time so that we can't criticize Israel? Teachers got fired for like not pledging their allegiance to the state of Israel.
Yeah. What the fuck is that?
Right.
Also, like, does anyone just like take a step back and be like, why is it our country?
Not enough people. Yes. And why are we so the blind allegiance, the blind loyalty that is just accepted?
I don't get it.
What is that? It's creepy.
It is creepy.
Putting Israel above our own stuff. Like, we don't have healthcare. Israel does. We send them like 3.8 billion dollars a year or some shit. And that's not even including military aid and the weapons stuff. And I mean, we come on, really? And we don't have healthcare, and we can't get, like, I can't even get potholes filled in the state of Ohio. I can't, like, we have potholes every fucking where. Can't get them filled. But no, but we can.
Hey, it's real. Right. And like, I don't think enough people that do blindly. I think a lot of people blindly support it because frankly, they don't want to be seen as quote anti-Semitic. And I was talking about this yesterday, and I hate when people do this, but like at this point, I kind of do want to start saying more because I grew up, my mom is Christian, but my dad's Jewish. So I grew up seeing both. And there's not enough Jewish people, I don't think, at least not that I know, talking about the fact that like just coming from that faith. I know people are like, well, that's ethnicity, religion, whatever. I don't even want to get into that now. But just because you're that doesn't mean you're loyal to Israel. I don't give a shit about Israel. I don't. I think that it's a fascist country that's really has far too much influence over our country. I mean, they're one and the same, honestly, in my opinion. They really are. It's just,
there's no gray area there at all.
They're you know, like, well, we need an ally over there. Like, get the fuck out of here. How all the problems that
it's not even an ally. It's not even an ally. It's like this power stranglehold. Like it's our source of control in that region. It's how we control that region. It's a power struggle. That's all that is. But you're right. I'm so tired of the anti-Semitism thing. Oh, this could get me riled up because honestly, I have no Jewish heritage. I don't give a fuck. I don't need to have any Jewish heritage to call this shit out for what it is. It's garbage. This is garbage. Criticizing a genocidal, apartheid, illegitimate state for its brutal oppression of Palestinian people is in no way anti-Semitic whatsoever. And in fact, conflating the state of Israel with the entirety of Jewish people is disgusting. That's anti-Semitism. That's anti-Semitism. That is anti-Semitism. And I'm so tired of this because this is exactly how they get to continue this bullshit because they put this fear into you so that nobody dares, because you don't want, it's like being called racist. You don't want to be called, oh my God, no. Oh my God. So you're very careful about what you say. And this is a weapon that they're using in order to continue this brutality. And I'm not, no, fuck off. That's not anti-Semitism. You don't get to call me anti-Semitic for calling out genocide. Fuck off.
It is, right. And like again, like in the Israel, like I've never felt any allegiance to it or felt like I need to go back home or some shit. Like my dad's side of the family is not from there. They're not from there. They never were. There's no claim to that place. So that's something it's really frustrating because not enough people that well, just not enough people in general. But, like, I think a lot of people, especially white people, I'm generalizing, but like they don't want to say what you just said because they don't want to be called anti-Semitic. And I
will be called anti-Semitic. Guaranteed.
Yes, you will. Oh, yes, you will.
100% that's going to happen. I just don't care. I don't care because I know I'm not, and I know what I'm saying is correct. Yeah. And that's not meaning to sound arrogant. I'm just tired of that being used to as a cover for brutalizing Palestinian people. I'm not okay with that. I'm not.
Right. Because I think there's again, I'm going back to my point of like saying there's so many people out there that have just been like accepted things for what they are. That's just how some people are. Not everybody questions stuff. That's okay. They, excel in other areas, but like you have to eventually ask yourself, why do I believe this? And go back to that, look at the history. And if it's something that you've just been told your whole life, like, well, we support Israel. We don't know why, but we support Israel because the Holocaust, so they needed a place to live. It's like, it's so much deeper than that. And that's
people are now perpetuating a very similar oppression against another people. They are now brutalizing people, and I'm going to get shit for saying that too, but it's true. It's true. They are now doing exactly what I can't. And it makes me sad, honestly, because I can't imagine being somebody with that level of brutality in my history. And then being okay with doing that against other people. That's heartbreaking.
Right.
That's heartbreaking. Like,
yeah, it's like every fucking time you criticize, there's some kind of news article, or like even just there's like I remember Steve sent this article, it was like a month ago. It was like from the National Review, and it was talking about like John Kerry like being an enemy of the state of Israel. They do this every few years where they like make a politician, they'll back them into a corner and like make them pledge their allegiance. We have to have our yearly reminder that our politicians are still loyal to the state of Israel. Mm-hmm. It's really frustrating to see. And like, I fucking hate that when speech is weaponized to the point of like, you can't say something. I mean, I don't care, but like, there's so many people, even I know, that aren't into this space, that like, they're not in any of this shit, but they're noticing it. If they're noticing it, that's a fucking problem. Like, well, you can't say anything anymore. You'll get in trouble. It's like, just say it. That's what I want people to do, is just fucking say it.
Yeah, we have to have those conversations.
Mm-hmm. Let them call you a racist. Let them call you whatever. Because if you know who you are, it shouldn't matter.
No. And well, I mean, but I also get that it is hard. Like taking the slings and arrows. I mean, that's not for everybody. I
don't think it's for me. Honestly,
it can be. It can be hard. Like if you have to have pretty thick skin, and you have to be like pretty confident about. I was honestly very like personal little story. I was a little bit worried about how I would handle it because I was like bullied as a kid. And, I had like a single mom, 3 kids. I didn't always have like the coolest shoes or whatever. And so I got picked on a lot for that shit. And I was, putting yourself out in public, there's going to be people who shit on you. It doesn't matter what you do. You could make have a little sewing channel on YouTube where you just like sew little like cute pillows or something. And there will be some dickhead in the comments talking about your appearance or your voice is annoying or there's always somebody willing to tear you down. And so I was worried, like, is this really going to be something that I A, want to deal with or B, can deal with? But honestly, it does not bother me like that. It really doesn't.
Right.
But I know that there are some people that it would be really hard for. I get that. Like, I get that. But I don't know. I just don't have that in me to. And again, I'm not saying like I'm always right or I'm always gonna, whatever. But I just, if you believe in something, you should be willing to go to bat for it and to like speak about it honestly. And I don't know why that's a fucking problem. Why can't we have those conversations?
I
don't get it. Things are not black and white. It's not that simple.
If only it were that simple. It's not. And people aren't always, like we've been saying, and it should be obvious at this point, especially, I mean, I know your audience knows this, but people aren't always going to think like you, and that's okay. I think the world would be really boring if everybody thought the same. And I've never seen, a group of people, honestly, it is more in my experience, like on the left, that like proclaim to be so inclusive and welcoming. I've never seen people actually so like completely opposite of what they claim to be. And it's just, that's what I'm so fucking tired of.
Yes, the hypocrisy. I'm willing to fight for somebody I don't know, but I'm not willing to talk to that person.
Right.
we can't have a conversation.
Right.
I'll fight for you, but we can't talk. We're not going to chat.
Yeah.
We can't have like, you know, oh, you want healthcare too? Because a lot of Trump voters wanted healthcare too. But they won't talk to you because you voted for Trump. So that means you're an irredeemable racist.
Right. And then they
what
wonder,
kind of fucking logic is that?
There's no logic there. Like, don't you think that's just going to alienate those people more?
Yes.
I don't know. Crazy fucking thought, right?
It's ridiculous. It's nonsensical. And these are grown-ass adults who think that this is a legitimate political strategy. Yeah, let's just alienate, you know, most of the country and in some way or another, because it's not just Trump voters that they alienate. It's pretty much anybody outside their little bubble.
Yeah.
It really, I just don't understand, because legitimately, do they just not want to get anything done? Is that their plan?
They think they're right. They just think they're right. That's authoritarian-ish to me. So that makes, I'm very averse. Like, I'm like, okay, I don't want anything to do with that. If you don't want to hear an idea, or you won't let something be said. I mean, again, like, your speech might have consequences that might, I mean, you know, it shouldn't be from obviously the government, but you know what I'm saying? It's like,
well,
you
yeah,
say
like
whatever
you
you want,
shouldn't be able to like have like legitimately threaten. Although it's fine for Benjamin Netanyahu to talk about committing violence against war crimes, like openly admitting to war crimes on, you know, camera or on Twitter. That's fine, but that's a whole other story. But if you like threaten somebody legitimately, like, yes, there are laws for that, and there are certain things that you shouldn't be able to say, or not really shouldn't be able to say, but just that, you know, we have to be a little. I don't know. I kind of don't actually agree with any of that either.
Yeah, no, I do that too. I'm like, wait, like if you say something, like, you might get some shit back, is what I mean. But you can say it.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, yes.
Like every time I'm like, wait, no, I don't want anyone. There should not be a consequence. But you know what I'm getting. You know what I'm getting.
But people like, yes, they're going to be blowback if you say some shit. Some people are going to not like it, but that's great. Let's have that conversation. Let's hash that out. Let's, you know, figure out. And we may not agree at the end of it, but we should be able to have that conversation.
Yeah.
But, you know, no idea should be off limits. And it's really fascinating to me that people don't understand that you don't just get rid of bad ideas or bad thoughts. Like, ignoring something doesn't make it go away. I don't know if that's like, you know, breaking news. You hear it here first. If you ignore a problem, it does not go away. That's, I mean, conspiracy theory, crazy tinfoil hat moment there. So yeah, like not talking about those issues or whatever, it's like when they want to take Trump, like completely erase the president of the United States off of the internet entirely, like Pinterest, all the way off the internet. That's fucking crazy.
That's weird, right?
No,
like, well,
the president of the United States, and I get it. Again, Donald Trump is a like horrible human being. He says unbelievably awful stuff. He's a buffoon. He's a clown. He's a joke of like, he's just, okay, I get it. He's like a monstrous turd. Okay, get it.
Yeah.
But he was the president of the United States, and they erased his existence from the internet. Boom. And y'all cheered for that. Do you understand? Weird. If they can do that to him, the president, what do you think that they're going to do with that? They just manufactured consent for them to do that to literally anybody and everybody. All of us.
They won't do that. What the fuck makes you think that they won't? Right, like, haven't they in the past? Like, what makes you think that they, right? Because, you know, I'm noticing, and I mean, the work that you've done for Assange, like, I think, I can't imagine the shit that you've got just for that, and like how successful you've been, you know, up to this point. And like, I mean, I'm amused, but it's horrifying, like when you bring him up to some people and they still go back to like, well, wait, didn't he like that one thing sticks in their head, didn't he like sexually assault somebody? Like that still comes back. I'm like, no, here, and just send them a few videos, and they're like, oh, holy shit, I had no idea. Like, I love your idea of like doing that story in like a more of like a true crime form, because I think that would because not really bitching, but yeah.
No, I think that's, I think a lot of people, we could get a lot of people to recognize what's happening that way, because he has been so effectively dehumanized, and the smear campaign, and it's a decade long, like, project. They've been going at him and it's not, again, it's never been like one big thing where they've like really gone after him at once. They've like slowly chipped away at his character. Again, over the course of a decade, they've manufactured consent for the treatment he's receiving right now. And they're using him as an example. They're doing it this way and dragging it out because he is the head on the stake. He's like the warning shot. This is what happens if you fuck with us. They want to make sure that nobody ever tries to Julian Assange again. You know what I mean? Like that's, and he's been made an example in that way. And I think that's why they're dragging it out with the appeals process. I think that's why he's still in prison, despite the fact that they ruled in his favor against extradition. I mean, it's a show. They're putting on a show. They're trying to make sure that nobody ever does what he did again. And you know, they've been systematically destroying the First Amendment for a long time, like right out in front of everybody. But because it's like this abstract concept that doesn't smack you in the face every day, like maybe your inability to see a doctor might, or, you know, the fact that you don't have a job, or that, you know, we don't have healthcare in the middle of a pandemic or whatever. You know, those things are more forefront for a lot of people. So the fact that their free speech is being crushed, they don't have time to pay attention to that. It's not as obvious.
Frustrating. That's what's really frustrating to me, and that's what I'm still learning. I don't know if I had the magical formula. We would all know
Nobody
it.
does.
Yeah, right. Like just making it important to people that on other issues they care. You know, they're out there, but it's like they almost, I've learned, like a lot of people equate the just notion of free speech with, again, like, ooh, you're a Republican. Like they do. I've noticed that a lot. It's fucking weird to me.
It used to be a lefty issue, like in the 60s and 70s. Like free speech was like a hippie, like kind of left wing issue, and now it's like completely reversed. I've had way more luck with people who lean right than I've ever had with any liberal.
Oh my god. Yeah, the liberals don't like me very much.
No, liberal, like that's, I mean, I'll get shit for saying this too. They're going to start calling me fascia Jason or whatever for this, but liberals hate me. A lot of like people who lean to the right may not like me, but they know that I'm like being legit, like I'm being real. Like you know what I mean? I'm not bullshitting them, and we may disagree, but they, I think that there's like a level of like, oh, okay, like at least you're an honest actor. Liberals are like the least honest actors. Oh man. And it's like this weird like cult of personality. I don't know. It's, again, like they just want to like feel superior. It's like this, they want to be this exclusive club. They don't want to reach out, but they preach the opposite, like you said earlier.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? I mean, it really, I feel like it started to get like, I mean, maybe it's always been like this, but just as I've gotten older, like the last, I don't know, 6 or 7 years, it's just like been creeping slowly. And then the last few years, it's just like, holy shit, I can't talk to you. I will talk to you. I have to, but like, you don't even believe half the shit you're saying. Or it's like, again, I feel like there's this emptiness within people like that subscribe to these like, this like dogmatic idea of like how they should be, like, you know, and what they should do and how they should talk, that they completely lose who they actually are in this like hope of trying to get this validation that they're a good person.
Yeah, they think in talking points. You know what I mean? Like they're very surface level thinkers, and they operate on received opinions a lot of the time.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like their friends are. It's okay. Perfect example is Barry Weiss when she was on Joe Rogan. That is somebody who doesn't have her own thoughts.
Right.
She, you know, lives in her little elitist bubble, and she only talks to people inside that bubble, and she hears what they say. And so when she heard somebody at a dinner party one night say that Tulsi Gabbard is an Assad toady, then she's going to repeat that, despite the fact that she doesn't know how to spell it. She doesn't know what it means. That's just something she heard. And so she regurgitates that, and presents it as like independent thought. And it's not. And that's what these people do. Like I think they honestly think that they are thinking for themselves, but I don't think they do. I think that they very much just hear things, and it's like the acceptable opinion. That's what's going to make them cool. It's going to get them accepted into the cool kids club, and they'll be able to sit at the right lunch table and all of those things. And so they regurgitate those things that are safe and that won't get them, you know, a lot of blowback, and that people, you know, it's like in that like guideline area where you can go to the right parties and talk to the right people. And you know what I mean? It's that,
Right.
And it's
and like you said, I think a lot of them like really do think that they are doing the most and thinking, and I don't even want to like hate on them, like, you know, because everybody does have the opportunity to change and learn. And I'm not perfect at all. I have plenty to learn. But it's frustrating when, like I said, those people then shut out anyone else that might even just question it. Like it hasn't occurred to them that they could possibly be wrong about something. But like I try to, especially like these like authority figures and like the, you know, the news, like I almost feel sorry for them, because that's a lonely way to live, honestly, is just under, you know, like only by repeating what you've heard and just hoping that'll like be enough. It's sad. I think that you actually if you do that over time, you lose who you are. And that's, you know, part of journalism is like just looking at different like people's like writing styles, like how, and it's all kind of like the mainstream stuff, it's all the same now, because it does mostly come from the same place.
Yeah.
All the same narrative managers.
Oh yeah.
Like, and that's what I try to tell people, especially like on the right, like all the time, that they'll see something on Fox News and sure, am I going to be like, yeah, because I guess, yeah, Democrats piss me off, but so do Republicans because they're all the same. But you know what I mean? But like, I try to explain that to them. I'm like, okay, you're getting that story, but like, you're not criticizing the other story. Cause like liberals, you know, the New York Times is word, like that is the word of God. You can't question that. Like I found that people on the right they'll like entertain it a little more with like a Fox News thing. But my point is that, you know, it doesn't help that we're just like actually living in two different realities, like depending on what news, like, you know, mainstream news people are consuming. You could look at one event and it's entirely different based, you know, if it's like from a right or left perspective. And I'm weird and I just think all of that's like interesting and I want to help change it, but like there's just a lot of motherfuckers in the way that they just want to hold on to their beliefs, and it's it can be tiring.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have to be this way.
That's what I mean.
It really doesn't. It really doesn't, you guys. No, it's, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but humanity, and I get that we have really no basis for comparison, but over the course of our evolution, we've really achieved some super amazing things. I think we can figure out how to, you know, treat everybody with dignity and respect, and to handle our problems without blowing shit up, and, you know, making sure that people have like a basic level of dignity in their life. And that doesn't seem all that hard for, you know, humanity, really. I mean, it seems it's what's really, really fucking bizarre to me is like, we teach our kids, like, use your words, right? Use your words, guys. Like, don't hit, and there's like a whole Yo Gabba Gabba episode where don't bite your friends. You know what I mean? Like there's a whole song. I think Jack Black's on that episode. Like, don't bite your friends. And then, but our world leaders blow shit up for resources and power and money. And that's fucking weird. There's no reason to blow shit up to like solve it's really, that's the level of existence we want to have. That's so fucking dumb. That doesn't help anybody. Really? Really? We want to
I know.
It's
and like,
so dumb.
I know. It just, the blowing shit up over and over just to rebuild. It's like, you're just doing that for profit. I mean, whether it's you want the resources there, or you just, I don't know what these psychos are thinking all the time, but like.
And it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't. Like, we don't have to have an economy of death. We don't have to have like this overbearing war machine, and it doesn't have to be that way. No. There are other ways that we can organize society where that's not a thing, you know. And I'm not saying that we can achieve. Okay, call me a fucking communist, like crazy me for not wanting to blow people up for oil. Ooh, I'm such an asshole. You know, like fuck off. It's so dumb. And it's really not that. People, oh, you're crazy. Really? That's crazy for me to want to like work towards something better when it's totally achievable. There's no reason that we cannot do that. The problem is that we elevate the worst among us to positions of power. And I mean, cool, let's get rid of positions of power if we can. But could we just not elevate the worst among us to positions of power? These are legitimate psychopaths. Benjamin Netanyahu, psychopath. Joe Biden, psychopath. Kamala Harris, psychopath. They're psychopaths. They're narcissists. They are completely self-involved. They don't give a shit about you. None of these people care about you. Bill Gates doesn't care about you. None of these people give a shit about you. They really have lost the ability for empathy. And that's not me like just making shit up. There have been studies done on this, that the more money that you have, the more power that you achieve, the less empathy that you have. You lose the ability to empathize with your fellow human beings. That's just the way that it goes. Like, can we just stop? Like, let's not allow people to get that amount of money and power. But then let's work toward just eliminating those positions of power. We don't need them. You don't need some master. Do you really? No. I'm a grown up. I think I can manage myself. Thank you. If people be like, oh, but what about crime? And what about this? There's always going to be that stuff. But if you deal with like the causes of those things and give everybody like a decent level of life and, like a peaceful coexistence where there aren't bombs being flung around and there isn't like this level of feeling not safe because you never know who's, you know what I mean? Like, those are all achievable things. That they really are. It's not like
crazy thing. And it's just, I don't know. Sometimes I don't envy it, but I don't know. I do. Like, people that just don't care. They're just like, yeah, that's another day back to doing what I'm doing. Like, I can't hate them because,
I'm jealous.
People are gonna do what they're gonna do. I don't want to change everybody. That would be very authoritarian of me, honestly.
Weird,
but yeah, like, hey, you all need to think like this. No, but
just think.
Just think. Question something.
Please.
It can be, like, again, it's like great to have other people out there that do. I mean, again, people are going to think differently, but when you find a community that's like, okay, they will entertain these thoughts I've had that, like, before people are like, what, you're such a conspiracy theorist. It's like, how the fuck am I a conspiracy theorist when you're the one believing in shit that's not happening, but the shit that is happening right in front of you, you won't even acknowledge.
Worse, when they acknowledge it, they call you a conspiracy theorist for talking about it. You know what I mean?
Too. That too.
I mean, that's really the worst part of it. They don't even recognize their own hypocrisy. And that's really annoying too. But yeah, they don't acknowledge, like, it's like, okay, you talked about Russiagate. You're still talking about Russiagate. For 5 years, you've been talking about Russiagate. You know what I mean? And you're going to talk to somebody about a conspiracy theory?
Right.
Stop it.
There are people then that still believe that happened. They still believe that's scary.
Dude. My stalkers are back on that a little bit right now, actually, which is kind of funny. Yeah, their thing right now is Jimmy Dore and Aaron Matei and like Gray Zone. They get platformed by Russian outlets. And obviously I haven't been platformed by any Russian outlets, I don't think, but they still like to throw around the Russian stuff. So so I mean,
God, Jimmy, there's this obsession with Jimmy Dore, and I'm always like, I don't want to hear one more thing, and now I'm bitching about it. But since you brought it up, man, this, like, I can't. It's just, why do people get that? Like, why do people care that much
about Jimmy Dore? And listen, no offense to Jimmy Dore. I like Jimmy Dore. He's funny. And there's a lot. I don't agree with him all the time. I wish he would write harder on some stuff.
Yeah.
I have, but I don't dislike Jimmy Dore. He's cracked my shit up. The fucking Mike McRae and the phone calls, dude. I'm telling you.
Funny.
Oh my God. Forget it. Love it.
Yeah, Mike McRae is one of my heroes, man. I love that guy.
He's
funny.
If you're ever having a bad day, go listen to the old fucking rip-torn Hollywood drunk.
Yes.
That is the funniest shit I've
the old
ever
Hillary
heard.
supporter.
Oh yeah.
And dude, you guys, I wish that they would put together like a compilation or like a playlist or something, like get them all in one spot so that I can just go and listen to them. Like,
I think he started this on YouTube now, so I'm hoping some of that happens.
Yeah, I need that in my life.
Like, I feel like, because he's funny because he's a comedian, of course. So you would expect a comedian to be funny. But my thing with him is that he says like he's the only guy out here. Like, you're not, dude, you're not. But I think a lot of people assume that he's in touch with, us lessers. I mean, I don't know. It's gonna sound like I'm defending him, and I'm not. He's his own person. But I don't get. It's more my problem is with the obsession of like deciding what he is. Like, he just is. He's probably not going to cover all the shit that we want him to. I'm not saying that's right.
Again, I don't agree with anybody all the time. You know?
Just I don't know, but I also get the other argument, the opposing side, and I do this a lot. I just like literally argue with myself, like out there doing it. Like I get it because he does say he's the only guy talking about stuff.
Yeah, that drives me nuts.
Obviously not, and I think he's actually really out of touch. But I think that's just because like his time, he's had a long career. I kind of think it's winding down, and so my bigger point with this is that like when we do that, when we prop these people up to like a level of like God status, or like we not only hope that they'll do everything, we also expect perfection. And so then when they're even slightly, like they're not going to do what we want them to do, everyone is up in arms. And it's like, just keep focusing on like the information, the goals. Like,
and if he's not doing something that you want him to do, then go do that thing. Just go do it. Like, quit bitching at other people, and go do like it. People do that to me all the time. You talk about Assange too much. Okay, well, there's something that you care about that you think that I should be talking about more, then go fucking talk about that thing. Yeah. I don't, what really, like, I'm not in charge of all the things.
Right. Right. You're one person.
Yeah. Like, yeah. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, I don't understand that at all. But yeah. And Jimmy, I think Jimmy plays his role. I think that there's been a lot of people that he's like opened their minds and stuff like that. But this weird fucking obsession and this like anointment of power to Jimmy Dore, like he is some like threat to humanity or something, like giving him all that. He says it himself. He's just some jagoff comedian. Like I'm just some chick in Ohio. You're giving this dude way too much.
Right.
He doesn't have that kind of power yet. Does he have some influence? Yes, of course.
Yeah, he was influential. So that's where then like the other side of me is like, well, I have to say this though. I can't stand though when he does say that he's some jack-off comedian, because then like 10 minutes before he says, I'm the only guy talking about this. Yes. It's like, well, which way are you going to go, dude? Because if you're going to play I'm just a jack-off comedian, then you're going to get some shit. But if you're the only guy talking about it, then first of all, that's not true.
You've elevated yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. And like bring on people that are smaller, because the thing with him is that he's the underdog. You know what I mean? And he won't. I remember, I think it was his interview with Franco. He said something like, he wants to have, I'm butchering what he said, but it was essentially like, he wants like the audience that not TYT specifically has, but like a larger audience. Like that's what his mind is in. He's like trying to be there. And it's like, dude, I don't know. I don't even really know where I was going with this for him. I'm just like tired of, first of all, people putting everybody up to like God status, like when they're just a creator, comedian, whatever the fuck they are, a politician.
They're just a person.
They're just a person
who has
gonna get disappointed,
and you're gonna agree with some of the shit that they say. People that you like are gonna say terrible things. People that you hate are gonna say things that are 100% spot on. Nothing is black and white. There's always gonna be a time when somebody says, even somebody that you are like, you think you're totally in tune with, there's gonna be something that you have a disagreement on, period, end of story. Like there, and you know what I'm saying? That's why I don't understand anybody focusing so much of their attention on, like, I hate Vaush. That's how you say it. Vaush, right? Vaush.
Oh my God.
I don't know. But he's gross. He's gross. Like he creeps me the fuck out. I can't stand that guy, but I'm not going to like follow him around on Twitter. I'm not going to troll his live streams. I don't watch his show. I don't give a shit about his show. I don't engage with him. I don't know why people think that they like, oh, I don't like somebody, so now I'm going to like completely obsess over their every fart. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, who gives a fuck?
And like, it's not even like that. I'm like do you, if that's what you want to do with your time, I'm not going to stop you. But then don't you think it's silly then to bitch about how nothing's quote getting done? And here I am bitching about those people. That's what I always kind of feel like a hypocrite when I talk about this shit. But
no, that's what the show's about. Bitching. Yeah, just bitching. Get it off your chest.
Well then, okay, I shall continue. No, I just like, it's counterproductive because it's like, okay, you're watching all this, you're watching this person who's getting you angry. It's almost like you keep going back for it, like you're addicted to it.
Yeah,
that is, that's something that does like concern me in this space as well. It's like none of us are immune from like falling into echo chambers, and that's something it's easy to like become like I guess like engulfed in all of that, but it's good to have people around you that keep you in check almost. I don't always like it if some like a friend will like call me out on some shit. I probably won't like it at all, but I would rather have that than people, just a bunch of people around me that are like, that's great, like that's something, something's wrong. I would say then if your audience, your friends, whatever is around you, like nobody ever has any pushback or just even like questions something.
That's what I like about MCSC. Like we all kind of come from the same place, sort of, but we have just like, we disagree with each other. There are things that we aren't like 100% like, but we have, it's not like I ever feel like any animosity because somebody might have like a slightly different viewpoint. Because it's usually, I mean, it's really weird to me that people don't understand that, you know, it's okay to like have a disagreement.
I know, that's what I'm saying. And like, is that like that's just like, guess how we're operating. Like people that I mean, it's hard to not lose a little respect, but like people that, you know, years, I don't know, 5-10 years ago, I could speak with, and now it's like maybe I changed, maybe they changed, but there's just this like refusal to even hear ideas that are outside of what they have been told, they've been conditioned to think is okay. And that's what scares me the most, because we're falling into a place, I think, where the information's there. You can find information so much easier now than you could 50 years ago. I mean, of course, there's a lot of shit that's muddying it. You have to know what you're looking for. But what I'm saying is if you have people that are finding it and sharing it, it's not that people, like, I'm more worried that they just really don't care anymore.
Yes.
That's what scares me, because there's either so much information that people are like, everything's a lie, I don't know what's true. Or we're so fucking distracted by things. I get it. Like, I get that shit's distracting. And like, people are just living their lives day to day. They're just trying to like going to work, taking care of kids.
Yeah, a lot of people like don't have the bandwidth.
They don't have the time. Yeah, they don't. And that's okay. I don't like when people use, like if you're an independent creator or just, mainstream, whatever, they use the information that they have or like wield as some kind of like moral superiority. I don't like that either. I get that people are busy, and I get that not everyone's going to care as much. That's okay. But what the people that are like in the middle muddying that shit, that's what I could bitch about forever and ever.
Yes. Yeah. Those are the people who should know better. That's what bothers me. Like I said earlier, like I get normies, whatever you want to call them. I 100% get that. Like I have so much more empathy for that than I do for somebody who claims to be educated, informed, they're in this space, they, consider themselves active, and there's no excuse for ignoring these things that are so blatant and obvious. And pretending like Joe Biden is going to be the next FDR, or pretending that the Democratic Party can be reformed, or, these people who, come the fuck on.
Out of, like, you're lying and you know it. Like, you have to know it. Yes. You have to know it. And if you're that scared of the truth, then like you probably are in the wrong business. I mean, honestly, because I think a lot of those people are they're scared too. They don't want to lose the status that they have, or they don't want to be branded as something. But it's like, then you got to take a look at yourself, I think, and maybe find yourself a little bit. Because again, if you know who you are, what you stand for, you're going to get shit, but you're being yourself. And I think that's
more important.
That's more important.
To me, I mean, to me, that's a no-brainer.
Right. But many people.
But we do ostracize those people, so I guess that would be really, that would be really hard to do.
Yeah.
To step outside, especially like when you're, like you said earlier, it's kind of like an abusive relationship. It's like a weird like tie-in, but I was watching this true crime documentary the other day about, I love true crime, about Susan Cox Powell. And she, like, in the Mormon church, and once you're married, when you're Mormon, it's like, that's it, you're married. Like it's very hard to get out of a marriage. And my husband was like, I don't understand, like, why, can't she does that whole, like blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but you have to understand there's like this whole other level when it's like a religious aspect, because you're then shunned from everything you've ever known, all of your friends, all of your, like your entire world implodes. And so that's a whole other level. And I think that's like a level. It's like this abusive relationship with, and politics. Steve says it all the time. Politics is the new religion. It is. It's like people, and it's creepy. Like people deify these politicians. Like AOC is like up on this pedestal, and Republican, like Trump up on this pedestal. Donald Trump, like this whole like worshiping thing of him, and it's so creepy.
It's creepy.
It's really creepy.
It's hard to not bitch about it, because it's like, again, you want to be compassionate, be like, look, I get why you've, how you've gotten here.
Yeah.
Like I I loved Obama. I mean, granted, I was like, 18. Whatever, I did. I was real excited about him. And then I learned a few years later that he was a fucking drone king. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I thought that he was the good guy. But then there's people that, like, friends of mine that, like, got there with me and then somehow went back. And that's what is crazy to me. Like, you can't, like, unsee shit or unread, unlearn.
Yes.
And I keep going back to this, like, these people out there that are on this, like, moral, like, high horse preaching at everybody about how they should be, just repeating shit that they've been told their whole lives. It's like, that's just, I feel sorry for you because you're kind of an empty, you're an empty shell, like, full of things that you don't even know why you believe. So that's something that, like, I could bitch about forever, but it concerns me. And I don't know how to, again, I don't have the answers, but it sometimes seems really challenging, or, like, it's hard to not feel like, ugh, it's just, we're always going to be those, those crazies, like, trying to like show everybody, like, the elephant in the room and that nobody wants to talk about, but I'm here for it.
And it's always kind of been that way. I mean, there's always been, like, this little tiny group. That's why it's hard for me to think that there's ever going to be any, like, we're ever going to move past this.
I know.
You know what I mean? Because it's always been that way. There's always been, like, this small group of people who are willing to look outside of things and, be wrong. And, like, it seems like we never gain any traction. They're very good at making sure that, seriously, they're unbelievably gifted at keeping us divided. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ.
I know.
They seriously have people thinking that Boogaloo Boys are a bigger threat than Citibank. Or
they're obsessed with the Boogaloo Boys.
I mean, seriously, they're obsessed with the Boogaloo Boys, honestly. And Magnus, he's gonna, like, we have to mention Magnus because I think literally he's been mentioned on every single episode of the show, because that's, like, a thing. Like, they call me Boog Babe, which, first of all, I'm a 39-year-old mother of two. Thank you for calling me babe. Appreciate you, homies.
That's fucking great.
But yeah, and I'm not, like, I've never been a Boogaloo anything.
Even if you were. I know you have to, like, fuck.
It's, like, just
I know. They just put out, and, like, again, narrative management, you can see where this is going. Like, I think it was, like, a month ago, they put out, like, a PBS Frontline about the Boogaloo Boys, and I was like, oh, okay. Oh yeah, first it's the QAnon people, then it's the Boogaloo Boys, and they basically frame it as it's like the very few extreme ones in there, because it is, they basically were trying to loosely affiliate with anything bad, of course, like, be under the terrorism umbrella, because, of course, dissent is terrorism. That's where we're headed. But, well, we're already here, but you know what I mean? It just hasn't affected a lot of people yet. But my point is that they pretty much, made the Boogaloo Boys out to be, like, people that want there to be a violent uprising. Like, they don't highlight the fact that most of them are preparing for, like, after all this shit. Like, they're just looking out for their communities, which is, I think, what every group has done since, I don't know, the beginning of time. People look out for each other. Like, that's what they're trying to do. I'm sure I'll get shit for this.
And listen, no, of course you're going to get shit for this, but are there some, like, a couple of douche canoes in that group affiliated somewhere? Of course, it's a decentralized, very new kind of movement. It's not, there's no, like, established whatever. It's a small, tiny, like, group of people. And it's this, and what, again, this is another thing that baffles me, is it's not like it's the same kind of propaganda that they level against, like, Antifa or Black Lives Matter. Just the different, and, like, okay, we don't believe the propaganda they preach about Antifa, but we're going to go ahead and believe everything they say about the Boogaloo Boys. Right. It's the liberals now who, like, trust the intelligence community because of Trump. And it's like,
so funny.
What?
Right?
These are people who we've all known for a long time are really bad people. And now even those people who have always known that they've been really bad people are like, yeah, we should believe what they say. What? Like, okay, it's okay to be skeptical of the Boogaloo Boys. I'm skeptical of them. I just told Magnus the other day, he was on the show last week. I told him straight up, I don't trust you. And I'm sure you don't trust me. Like, but I don't have a problem having conversations with you. Like, there's nothing wrong with me talking to you. But yeah, like, I've done like some research into Boogaloo Boys, and I've listened to people who are on the ground who have like seen them in action. Like Ford Fisher is a great resource on this because he covers these protests in a very he's one of the few who really genuinely tries to be like non-biased.
Yeah,
he just sticks a camera and like it records what's happening.
Yeah.
Very rarely does he ever like give his opinion or comment. And he just shows you what the Boogaloo Boys do. And I mean, I'm sorry, but anybody willing to put their body in between cops and my comrades is okay with me. That's okay. Like, I'm cool with you doing that and making sure that cops don't fuck with our people.
Yeah, like a lot of it's just like it's like, I don't want to say cultural, but it's like their own, it's just, again, different groups of people. I don't see them as this like existential threat to.
No, I disagree with them on a lot of stuff.
Sure. Like, I'm not going to, call them domestic terrorists because that's, and like, so that's what the documentary.
My God, you disagree with me, you fucking Nazi collaborator.
Oh yeah, I hope I get called just.
You're going to like. I
just
hope that because you are now affiliated with MCFC, which means you're affiliated with Nico, which means you're affiliated with me, which means you're affiliated with Fee, and they don't like us.
No, I'm here for it. No, yeah, I've gotten a taste of it. But yeah, like the level of hate, like that you and Fee, the shit that people say.
Fee gets it the worst.
I know. I mean.
There's no question. Nico's like a close second, but I think Fee gets it the worst. Really, there's no question.
I just don't know if people act like that, out in the real world. Like, I have friends that they have friends, they work. I don't care for those people. Does that mean that I'm just like, fuck you too? No. It means that we just don't talk.
You can be civil to each other. And, if you see each other in the hallway, you just, nod or whatever and go about your day. No, you don't like follow people around screaming, horrible things at them and harassing them and stalking them. And no, of course not. It's weird that people are okay with doing that behind a keyboard. And like, I get snarky and, but I would say, I mean, I don't think anybody would be surprised. I would say that to your face.
Big same. I get it.
Yeah. I mean, people ask me all the time, are you the same on Twitter as you are in real life? Yes. Yes, I am.
Fortunately, yes. I'm kind of an asshole. I get it.
I am. I mean, I'm an asshole. I get it. But I'm also like unbelievably loyal.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's very loyal.
You know what I mean? Like, and I don't need to like big up myself, but I'm like a complicated, and I'm not for everybody. I get that. You don't have to like me. I don't give a shit, frankly. I don't need everybody to like me. It's not a thing that I'm like, I don't have that thing.
When I was, like I think when people are younger, or just like you go through stages in your life, but then it's something at some point, just when I feel like when you get older, it just clicks. I don't know. You're just like,
and you realize it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like the people that love me. That's all that I care about. That's it. That's all that I care about. And some rando on Twitter who doesn't like me. I'm not going to lose any sleep over that at all.
No, but it's just sad. Like the level of, people will continue to do it because I think a lot of those people think that they're going to get something out of it too. Like, ooh, did you see what I said? I don't know. That's the one part of this. Like, honestly, I wish that Twitter wasn't very effective as far as like just seeing what's going on like in real time. Because I think otherwise I would be off of it. I don't really like social media. I know it's so cliche for creators to say too, but I don't. I find it like it can be actually really draining.
It is.
Like sometimes people will say, I tagged you in this or I like sent you this, and I'm like, fuck, like I don't want to come off like I don't want to be a jackass or like think, oh, I don't have time for that. It's like I would rather just send me like story ideas like to an email. I don't know. I got to figure this out because people like I tagged you on Twitter and you didn't. I'm like, I just don't get on it that much because it's like unless it's like specifically, I don't know, like I think I just got to go through and like cut a lot of that shit out, and that's me.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Like notifications can be impossible to keep up with. No, I don't have them turned on, but I just mean like when you log in and you like start to go through shit.
Yeah.
Holy balls, man. It's impossible. I try really hard to interact with everybody as much as I can because I mean, if you're like interacting, like I'm here for that. Yeah. That's kind of the point of Twitter, but it is draining. It can be really draining. Yeah, and especially when a lot of it's so toxic and negative and stupid. Like I don't give a shit about a lot of this stuff. That's why I ignored a lot of the drama for the longest time. Like people smeared me for months and months and months before I said a word. because I just didn't care. It doesn't matter. Like again, I want to get shit done. You guys.
That's all. I don't know why you piss people off so much, especially like with the Assange stuff. That's something I don't understand at all. I don't know why I actually don't understand.
There are a multitude of reasons why people don't like me because of Assange. A lot of there's the whole thing where they think that I'm using it as a grift or to chase clout, which is funny to me. This is one of the most censored stories.
Right. Why
would I choose that to chase clout, y'all? Like there's really it's like, oh no, it makes no sense. And grifting, y'all, I don't make money off of this shit. I spend a lot of money. I don't make money off that shit. So that's seriously, ask my husband. We fight about it. We fight about it.
It's a real thing.
It's a real thing. But yeah, like, and I also think that there are a lot of people who are just honestly looking for any reason to hate me. And they are unwilling, and a lot of people are just dumb and they don't understand the significance of Julian Assange. Like there are people, they'll bring up, well, he's an anti-Semite and he's a rapist and he's a Russian asset and he helped Trump get elected. There's all those things that they use to hate him. And I'm here to tell you all that I do not give a fuck. I don't care if Julian Assange was the worst human being on planet Earth. I would still fight against what's happening to him because it's bad and it's wrong and it's dangerous. And it happening to him means it can happen to me, and I would like to keep my First Amendment rights personally. So you know, shut the fuck up. I don't care. And none of those things are true, by the way. But people like to. My favorite is when they're just like, "Well, I hate that guy." Why? Have you ever met him?
Right.
Because I've never met him. He could be like a legit asshole. 100% he could do that. I doubt it because I know some people that know him and they're lovely people. And I can't imagine that they would hang out with an asshole. But yeah, I don't care though. I don't care. I really don't. I care about protecting my First Amendment. I care about protecting press freedom and being able to hold power to account and, you know, have, you know, truth. You know, Julian Assange has never gotten it wrong. He's never gotten it wrong. And not only has he never gotten it wrong, it's not like he's giving us conjecture or opinion or, you know, just like anonymous sources said this. No, he's giving you authenticated, 100% verifiable source documentation. That's invaluable. That is do you understand the things that he has helped us uncover? The Iraq body count, the torture that it goes on at, you know, black sites across the globe, Guantanamo, the Iraq war, the collateral murder video, like just fucking Vault 7 and like all the shit that the CIA can do and listen to you through your smart TV and all that shit. Do you guys understand? Like that's amazing knowledge that humanity is entitled to. I want to know that my government is arming and funding and training terrorists, and then launching a war against those people that we armed and funded and trained for money and resources. Like, I want to know that shit.
That's our foreign policy.
And you know, this whole thing where, oh, but he never reports or he never reveals anything on Russia. There's like a handy dandy search bar on wikileaks.org. Before you go saying something like that, try it, use it out, and you'll really avoid maybe looking like a complete fucking moron, because he's reported on, they've released stuff on pretty much every major government across the globe and most major corporations. It's not just government, it's corruption amongst corporations as well, which I also would like to know about. There should be 1,000 WikiLeaks across the globe. You know what I mean? Like, people in power should be terrified to step outside of, you know, what's good and right. You know, fuck off. Like, it's weird that people they allow their personal fifis to get in the way of like reason and logic. It doesn't matter what you think of Julian Assange as a person. It does not matter. It's irrelevant. 100%.
Matter. In fact, like, oh God, what is it? I'm not even that guy. I just said that guy, Ben Shapiro. Facts don't care about your feelings. I'm not quoting him for the fucking record. I hate that he says that. But
no, he's a douche. But yeah, I mean, I hate that we have to preface shit.
I know. I know. And then after in my head, I was like debating, like, why did I just say that?
Yeah, because I have to do that with Tulsi all the time. I don't. Oh, that's a big thing. That's another thing that my stalkers like to pretend that I'm a Tulsi supporter. Like I have not been unbelievably public about the fact that I do not support Tulsi Gabbard. She's in the military, you guys.
We've been saying that shit. She wasn't anti-war for either one of us. We've been saying it for how many years?
Yes, forever. I've never been shy about that. I absolutely appreciate the fact that she stood up for Julian Assange and Edward Snowden and Chelsea Manning and against the espionage. Yes, because here's the thing. People I don't like, again, are going to do good things, and that's okay. And when she does something that's good that I agree with and that I support, I'm not going to be like, oh, I can't support that because I don't like Tulsi. That's fucking dumb. That's juvenile. Grow the fuck up.
It's childish.
You know? Yes, it is childish.
Emotions drive everything these days. And that's, I don't know, maybe that's me because like, you know, a lot of the times the shit that we get mad about, like, it's just us projecting stuff that like we don't like about ourselves. And so like, yeah, I've had to learn like my emotions sometimes like drive decisions, but I've learned over time, like, hey, you're probably not going to do like say the best thing right now if you're in an emotional state, or you're going to regret this later. So maybe like just take a step back, look at actually what happened.
I'm the same way. Cool. I'm reactionary sometimes. Absolutely. Something will get me in a certain way and I just go off because I've been triggered. You know what I mean? And that's everybody does that. Recognizing it and, you know,
but it's like
but seriously.
People are like almost like we're in this loop, like addicted to being triggered and to being like upset about something.
Offended. Everybody wants to be offended.
Really, or like just honestly, people want to be oppressed. It's fucking weird, man. I'm telling you, it's abusive. They do. Like, like it's like a competition for like how oppressed you can be. Like if you're comfortable enough to be like talking, like, you know, saying like, oh, I'm oppressed about this. This was really oppressive. You're fucking lucky because there's a lot of people in the world. Oh, I don't know, in Palestine, let's just, you know, keep it with current events, that don't even have the luxury of, they would laugh at those conversations. I feel like, and I'm speculating, but I think, you know, conversations that I just have with people even outside of the United States, they laugh at like what we've devolved into, which is just like a bunch of crying, like children. Like words don't mean the things that they use, like they don't mean what they mean. They mean something completely different, or they mean like whatever's going to suit what you're trying to argue. And it's just devolve. Yeah, the word devolve is just like, ugh. So I am an optimistic person. Having said that, it's just, I try to stay optimistic. I mean, but like, I don't like to just be like, it's all going to work out, because it's not going to all work out if, you know, we're not talking about it or doing it. And like, I don't know if you struggle with this. Like sometimes I feel like I'm not able to commit 24/7 to this. And I know that there's people out there that are like, oh, you're not committed enough, or like, what are you doing? You're just like, what are you doing? People. Yeah, fuck them. Because it's like, you're doing something. You can't, you know, commit 24/7 to this. I respect people that, you know, are able to do that. But if we're just going to do nothing and just stand back and like criticize each other all day, like the fuck.
Listen, I 100% agree with you. I constantly feel bad because I feel like I'm not doing enough, which is why I often overload myself with too many projects, because I always feel guilty. But I also, the people I have found that the people who will most often criticize you for not doing enough or for not whatever, those are usually the people who are literally doing nothing.
Yeah.
And they are projecting because they feel bad about themselves and they feel guilty about the fact that they're not doing a damn thing other than trolling people on Twitter. And, you know, fuck those people.
Yeah.
You know, I am doing the best I can with what I have and the abilities that I have. And I wish that I could do more. I think that everybody who gives a shit does. But yeah, people who are going to criticize anybody who's doing anything, fuck off.
Fuck
you have no right. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I can't tell you, I do get, it's like, it feels good. Like there's people that like will just message me and be like, you know, I heard you say something, you guys were talking about this, or even just like Discord calls. I love like doing that. And just like, that's my way of like actually learning more instead of just necessarily like only Twitter, just cause like I get lost in it sometimes, but like just talking with different people, and they'll say like, it feels good when you finally like, you hear someone say something like, oh, I didn't know I was like not alone thinking these things. And it helps other people kind of, you know, come out of that shell a little bit too. So that's why, again, like with those bigger names out there, I hate that, you know, the ones that just stick to like the loop, like just they're 5 different like news stories, even Jimmy Dore, you know what I mean? Because it keeps your audience, it keeps them in this like perpetual state of
Steve says it best. It's like they're trained. It's like this Pavlovian thing. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's unfortunate, and I don't know that it's always intentional.
Right.
I think that the way that, and we see this a lot in independent media, which I'm glad that we're talking about this because it's a huge issue. But you know, there's like this weird thing where you get to a certain level, and I don't know that it's a conscious thing, but I think that people realize that they're now dependent upon clicks and subscriptions and Patreons and all of that stuff. And so they start to narrow their focus of coverage because they want to appeal to the broadest base of people, and they don't want to alienate anybody. They don't want to piss anybody off. They want to make sure that people aren't going to unsubscribe or cancel their Patreon or whatever. So they start to really self-censor. I think that sometimes it's incredibly intentional. In fact, I know it is, because there's been people who have told us straight up that they won't cover Julian Assange because it affects their, their channel or whatever. And I have no patience for that level of cowardice. But I think that like people who do it like subconsciously, I get that, because it is like it's really set up to reward that way. You know what I mean? It's so I get that. That's why I wish that we could get more people, I would love people to, like, more voices to join independent media, because we need, like, that's how we're going to be able to combat against propaganda, is if we're all yelling. You know, we're gonna need more people who are able to withstand the sort of temptation of falling into those traps, because I'm sure it's hard. I mean, I have like a tiny little channel, and I don't have like a lot. So I mean, I'm not saying I'm impervious to it. I hope I will be. But I get it. Like it's easy to allow that stuff to influence your way of thinking, and without you even recognizing it. You know, and I think that there are, for sure, again, I know that there are people who are very clearly aware, and they are 100% self-censoring intentionally, because they're concerned about their income. Because I mean, for a lot of people, this is like the way that they live now. This is their job, and so they're afraid to lose that. And huge props to Aaron Matei, actually. I don't like the fact that he does this, but he at least admitted to it on Jimmy Dore, actually. You know, we have people have bills to pay, and you get to a point where there's certain things that you can't say, or you have to be careful about. Also, he's Canadian, so he's just really nice. But
like, just even having to, like, the fact that in, you know, journalism, that is a conversation that is had, that should tell people something. Like, if you know, like, there's something seriously wrong here. Like, if people can't, you know, talk about something that's going to affect their income, like, think of it what you will. I mean, I don't think I could do it, but then again, this is my full-time gig. I don't know. I'm not gonna like lie to you and say, I mean, like, I know who I am and like what I stand for, but I wouldn't lie if I was making millions and like just there was a story that I had, you know, that people wanted me to cover. That's a big decision. So I'm sure I would still cover it, because I think that not doing it would go against just like who I am. But my point is that, I don't know, I kind of lost it actually, because in my head I was like, I wish I had $1 million to it.
No, but I wish I had $1 million.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like,
I get it.
Get it, but
I can definitely understand where those people are coming from, and why that's hard to avoid, because, you know, it's a capitalistic society. And, you know, if you're Kyle Kalinske and you get invited to do Kyle and Crystal and Friends or whatever the fuck that shit is, you do it, and you don't cover Julian Assange, and you don't, you know what I mean? Like, every once in a while, oh my God, Kyle stands are going to come for me. They're the worst.
Oh yeah. See, I don't really interact with the Kyle stands much. I don't know. I'm sure
I don't either.
They
don't like me either, because anytime I do talk about him, it's me calling him out for his bullshit.
It just seems kind of soft.
Yes. And I think he's admitted to that. Like, he's like kind of a milquetoast.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
he knows
at least he has self-awareness about it, I guess. But like, he's not, to me, anybody who's welcome on the Hill is not like, no. I mean, come on. I don't understand why anybody takes the Hill seriously. That's weird to me, you know? I don't know.
Like, here's the progressive and here's like the conservative. Yeah, just the whole.
And they're going to smear Julian Assange for 20 minutes real quick.
Yeah. Also, what the fuck? Any journalist that like isn't. That's, again, though, I'm going back to these like absolutes, but it's like, come on. Like, if you're not talking about it, I'm not saying talk about it all the time. I don't.
Assange?
Yeah. Like, you know what I mean, though? Like, they won't even like entertain it. And again, I'm not saying I'm talking about it all the time, because people have actually since I've been with Slow News Day, some people have been like, well, you haven't always been working on this. Like, okay, did you know me 10 years ago? Maybe I was talking about it. I didn't know
but it doesn't matter if you were or you weren't.
I wasn't talking about it until I really got involved with fucking A4A. Who gives a fuck when you come to it?
Yeah, are we not supposed to accept new people in
That's
to
what I'm saying.
That's kind of the point of us doing
That's kind of the point. That was the whole point of Action for Assange, is that to like just grow the shit as far and wide as we can. Why would we not accept new people? See, that's what I'm talking about. The most self-defeating idiots. They are so dumb. So dumb. That mentality is the most, you like, just shoot yourself in both feet. Seriously, you're done.
I've noticed too, it's particularly bad with the Assange community. Like, well, where were you at in 2010? I'm like, well, do you want me here now or do you not? Because I can think of 1,000 other things I'd rather be doing than fucking pissing into the wind.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yes. I think that's actually what motivates me to like do, like, you know, stay on this, because there is like this, it's not just like with like what Josh just said, but just in other areas too. There's these people that they have this information, they know that they can do something with it and share it, but they keep it close to them, or that their circle close to them, because they want to be the only ones that are covering it. And it's like, that doesn't, I don't understand that. Don't you want everybody to be like talking about it? Like, I get wanting credit for like hard work. I don't like when people just take other shit. Like, you know, they take a story from somebody and don't even give them credit. Like, we know many of those people that happens to, but
Robbie happens all the time. And that's actually a great example of what you're talking about, because the Colonial Pipeline thing, like, obviously Robbie's part of MCSC. MCSC could have sat like on that and just covered it ourselves. No, we launched like a whole ass pressure campaign trying to get literally anybody to talk about this. Anybody. I mean, I called politicians' offices. I emailed them. I tweeted at Bill McKibben. He responded and said he was going to cover it. And then he gave us 2 sentences in his blog post. Fuck that guy. We have gone after, what's her name? Sunrise or Sunset or whatever. Sunrise Movement. That co-opted bullshit psyop. Literally everybody. We've been trying to just get people to talk about it. And that's like Robbie's scoop. Like, we could have totally sat on that and just kept it for ourselves and, you know, been done with it. No, we need people to talk about that shit.
Yeah, that's kind of the point. It doesn't matter who. I don't care who talks about it. I don't care if Tucker Carlson talks about it. If it gets into people's fucking minds that colonial shit in particular is bad, good. I don't care who fucking talks about it. It's the point.
It's a historic spill. And not only is it a historic spill, and just in the fact of how much it is, the just complete ineptitude and just colossal failure of Colonial to handle this. I mean, this has been going on since August, and we still don't know how much they lost. We still have no idea how much gas it was leaked. We have no idea.
I don't have a clue.
I mean, come on. And that's not a story. These pipes are over 40 years old. They only get checked like once every 5 years, and it only has to be like a certain percentage. And they don't even keep great records on that. It's like a whole fucking disaster. The regulations in the oil and gas industry are abysmal. It's because they write their own rules. Their lobbyists go and buy politicians, and then they write their own rules to avoid accountability and to save money and to prop up their bottom line. And that's not a story. Fuck off. That's a huge story.
There's no there's no regulations there, which is like at the bare minimum. Like, I don't love I mean, you need it, and like, I just don't trust people that are supposed to be regulating. Hence why I'm like, ugh. But
these people have, they cannot be trusted to do this shit on their own. Very clearly.
And you know, I'm not gonna put it all on Biden. It's not, but thanks to the people that voted for Biden, we now regulation's let's see how that goes, because what you have more than ever is a marriage of the state and the corporations, like even more than I truly think more than we've ever seen before. I mean, yeah, of course there's lobbyists, no doubt. That's huge, but I mean, the legislation or the executive order that he signed for cybersecurity following this, like, I don't even know where to start, because I think I am just better talking about it than writing about it, because there's just so much. There's so many ways that you can see how this is bad. Like, they're using this opportunity. They're saying, of course, that the hackers paid, or not the hackers, like the ransom
was paid.
The hackers, whatever. Yeah, they were paid in crypto. Therefore, we must regulate the crypto market entirely, which, like, think what you want of crypto, but the point is, like, they don't want people to have like freedom within like any kind of currency. Like, they're gonna that's what's next.
Well, and we shouldn't want them to have any say over that, period.
I mean, we called this shit on Slow News Day. Like, Winnie Webb is always fucking right, dude. Like, we went this wasn't even a Whitney
I love that
thing,
meme. Have you guys seen that
meme?
That's
great. It's great.
I love it.
But,
it's true.
But yeah, we went through whatever that long ass report was, and they were
they were
already talking about they were going to go after crypto. They just needed a fucking excuse, and they got their goddamn excuse.
And that's convenient, isn't it? They got their excuse.
Yeah, and I find it real suspect that it's Colonial out of all the fucking companies, dude.
I know.
Gave them the excuse.
I know.
It's
very conveniently timed for them too, because like we were starting to gain some traction on the spill story.
Yeah, no one's talking about this shit. No one's talking about the spill. No one knows.
No,
it's just about the evil hackers and Bitcoin and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, that's really scary to me because I mean, and there of course like the language, I'm almost done with this report, and it's all these people that are on this board. Because if you just tell like an average person like, hey, this is happening, they're like, so it's like a board that's advising the government. I'm like, no, but those people are the people sitting on these boards, like they're governance boards, like those are the people that are advising Congress on making decisions on how to regulate things, because they specifically say in these articles like, well, we've tried to regulate this in the past, but the Congress wouldn't pass it. So then what do? They bring all the people back together again from like the CIA, the FBI. They're sitting on these boards right along with people from Microsoft, FireEye, like all the just everybody in the tech world and government has come together in the national security state. They're really all together in front of our eyes, and Biden's just selling it. And not just Biden, but the media, everything. The narrative is that it's like this cooler, like hip, like Silicon Valley type of like style of like tech, and it's like it's for the good of the people. And no. I mean, there's somebody I think from like every agency you can imagine like sitting on these boards that like have these like cool like quippy little lines on their website, and like the marketing's done well. I mean, that's a whole
there is
other
no gray area in between corporate America and government. There's none. There is zero. It is all intertwined. It is. I mean, whatever definition you want to have of fascism, the corporate and that's where we're at.
Yeah.
And that's why when people say that these tech companies are private companies, it pisses me the fuck off.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
No.
You don't get to have that kind of relationship with our government and still consider yourself a private organization. You are not. You are fully ingrained in the governance of this country. From your lobbyists. I mean, just go and look at how much money Google has donated to Joe Biden or to any number of these people. They own our politicians. They are not private companies anymore. You don't get to say that, and you don't get to say that. Sorry, I know that like legally they're considered private companies, but we need to fight against that with every fiber of our being, because they are not private.
No.
They are your government.
They're exactly. I was gonna say they're the new government, because like even like at the World Economic Forum, this like the most recent meeting that they had, they're like the whole narrative of this year, whatever. I've lost track of time at this point. I don't fucking know who it is, but they were saying that people don't trust their governments anymore. So how do you, like, what better way to get people to comply than through the private sector? Because so like, hey, the corporation's going to provide this for you, that for you. Your government can't, but you'll trust your CEO. And it's like, those are the same people advising your Congress people. And it's just it's a lot. I don't know. There's always going to be a part of me that is like still hopeful. But yeah, it's
to do what we do. There has to be.
Yeah.
Like I joke about it with Steve all the time. There's like this little tiny part inside my cold, dead heart that still kind of has hope that we can turn this around. And if I didn't have that, there's no way I could do what I do, because it's unbelievably depressing. And there are not a lot of wins. That's why I tell people all the time, I invent wins for myself all the time. I have to stay sane. Like,
you have to.
When one of the big ones for the longest time was when Ryan Knight finally decided to cover the Julian Assange thing. And this was when Gloria and I like first went off on like, we were going after everybody, everybody, like just tweeting at everybody, like, come on, politicians, journalists, content creators, everybody, and celebrities. I mean, I was like on a Twitter spam fiesta. I was constantly trying to get anybody like, hey, let's talk about this. I forget what I was even going to
hate that.
say.
I hate that.
What was I talking about? Well, what the fuck was I talking about?
No, because now I'm like, I went off into like thoughts of like how some people are better at that than others, and you and Gloria.
Yeah, just being able to like keep
Positivity, yes.
Yeah, at least a little bit. You know what I mean? But like, I have to invent these wins for myself. And Ryan Knight decided to cover it, and we had been tweeting at him, and I'm like, I did that. I have no idea if I actually did that, but I did that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to tell myself I did because it makes me feel better, and it gives me the ability to keep pushing. You know,
you're doing
like
a lot. So.
I mean, I do what I yeah, I hate, like, I'm not great at compliments. I hate them. Like, people on Twitter are always like, you know, hey, thanks for all the stuff you do. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay. What are you doing? All right.
I honestly don't do that much, you guys. Like, don't give me too much credit. Seriously. But yeah, it's just, you have to give yourself something every once in a while, throw yourself a bone, because especially like, I think the reason why, like, we all get along with the Convo people is because they get it, because election integrity is the same way. It's very thankless. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody, like, you're going to get shit on, and from all sides. And it's like, there's not a lot of wins, and it's like a constant, it's brutal.
Oh, yeah. It's like, right. Like, just talking with you before, just like, fuck these people. It's just, all people are really trying to do is get the message out.
Yeah. Yes. Wow. And you get shit on for just doing that too. And it is really depressing. It's really hard to, sometimes it is hard to stay focused. Like, I tell the story all the time. Nils Melzer, totally, if it hadn't been for him, I may not be doing this right now. Because I had gotten to a point with the Assange stuff that I thought, this is fucking hopeless. It's too much. It was just really depressing, and it was like constant, just you know,
disappointment and frustration. Yes. I can imagine. Yes. I'm just like looking at the picture in the back that you have him, and it's just like, it makes me almost like tear up, because it's like, that's such a, it's devastating. Like, he's literally just sitting, like,
he's being tortured to death. We're watching like a slow motion execution. And I mean, whatever you think about Julian Assange, that's gross. This is a journalist. He's an intellectual. He has no history of like a violent past in any way, shape, form, or fashion. He has an underlying health condition. He's autistic, and he's, you know, like, there's a lot of stuff that he's dealing with, and he's being held in a supermax, for journalism. Like, he has
telling the truth,
for just telling the truth. Like, that's all he did.
Sharing the truth. Yeah. Right. I mean, compared to the people that comment now on like one piece of like evidence, he's relatively quiet. It was just like, here are the doc, you know what I mean?
Like, I mean, he would give interviews and stuff, and he would discuss like topics or whatever. But like, what WikiLeaks does is just show you the documentation. That's it. And that's what he's being persecuted for. And it's really bizarre to me that people have well, I mean, I guess, again, there's just been a decade-long smear campaign against him that's dehumanized him to the fact that, or to the point where people just don't give a shit. It's like, oh, well, they've like created this caricature of him. He's like this evil villain from a comic book. And so nobody gives a shit. It's like, oh, who cares what happens to that guy? And they fail to realize how it impacts them as well.
We gotta get on that, like, true, I don't know, something to tell that story. I mean, you're doing a lot. I just want to, like, I think that's a great idea. Again, it's just like not reframing the story, but like telling it in a way that's gonna make sense.
It is kind of
people.
Reframing,
isn't it? Yeah, I guess it is.
I mean, it's taking back the narrative. And you know, it's a way to combat against the propaganda. And I'm not saying it's going to be like fully effective. All I really need, like, I watch enough true crime that I can 100% come up with like write it. I just need to get like research together and find somebody to do like the editing of a video, because I suck at that stuff. But yeah, like, I think that we could 100% do that. And it would really, I think, get people to see it in a different way. Because, you know, I think that, in my experience, once you get people to listen to the actual facts of what's happening, it's very easy to change people's minds.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's what happened to Nils Melzer. Nils Melzer 100% bought into the propaganda. Like, he was like, oh, that guy, when they first approached him, he was like, oh, that guy's a rapist, and he's like a hacker, and I don't, you know, whatever. But he like forced himself to look past that and to look into it. And once he actually looked at what's happening, he's like, oh, wait a minute, what is going on here? And he changed his mind. And now he's one of the most vocal advocates for Julian Assange and press freedom that we have. And I think that for most people, once they, and it's hard to get people to kind of shake off their biases.
Yeah.
That they might like their preconceived, not even preconceived, like their pre-received opinion about Julian Assange, what they've been force-fed about him. It's hard to get people to shake that off and like look at reality. But if you can get people to do that, it's very easy to get people to see.
Exactly.
So I think that just maybe not even just reframing it, but presenting it in a different way.
Yeah.
I think is worth a shot. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't fucking know.
I know.
I wish I had the answers, but anyways, okay. So I always try to get Sleepy out of here at 9 because Sleepy Josh works super hard, fams. Yes, I know I say this all the time. I'm like the Sleepy Josh hype man, like what is it? The president of the Sleepy Josh fan club.
Oh yeah, he works his ass off.
Yeah, he does. So on his Twitter page, he has like a buy me a coffee, right? Or buy a coffee. I don't know.
Buy me a coffee.
Yeah. Okay. So it's at abortu, ABORTU. And then he has a link for the buy me a coffee. I always ask people to go and shoot Sleepy some coffee money because he's sleepy and he needs his coffee. Caffeine is good.
I'm drinking it right now.
But now, Sleepy Josh, now that I have good internet, you can teach me how to do shit for my damn self.
It's true. It's true.
And you can have the night off. Yay!
Oh shit!
Although I do love having you here, though. So
I know. Yeah,
maybe there's a couple different reasons I'm like a little bit upset that I have decent internet. One is that like I won't need Sleepy Josh as much anymore. Two is that now you can actually see me, and so I have to like, actually, because I don't do like hair and makeup and all that shit. It's not so.
I mean, it's like it can be real time consuming. This shit, it's like takes.
It's just not my thing. Like I have I have no problem with people who like are into it. I'm not though. I like this is what you get. Fucking deal with it, bitches.
So it's nice to see your beautiful face even clearer. Yeah, because I guess before it was a little. Oh, let's see. She knows
a little.
She knows it.
A little.
It was a little glitchy before. Yeah,
girl.
That's good. Everything is. Again, look at my background. I still can't get it right.
It's like watching an Atari. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can mirror it in OBS.
That's what I did, and it was fine. And then we got live, and I don't know. So what?
It's confusing because it'll look backwards to you when it looks not backwards to us.
And the sad thing is, I know he's told me this before. I wrote it down. I'm writing it down right now. Like so, if it looks like
we need like a little handbook.
So
Sleepy
like
Josh needs to write us a book.
If it looks backwards, then it's fine on camera.
Okay.
All right then.
Everybody, I learned today officially.
I can help you fix it though.
Oh, Sleepy. What do we do without you, man? He's so patient too with our dumbness.
I know.
I did tech support for like 12 years, so I blame.
I know. You're probably very used to I get it. But I still feel bad when I come at you with like what are obviously dumb questions.
Dude, I've had old people like try to use the fucking CD-ROM drive as a cup holder. So
this is like nothing.
I'm not even joking.
Okay, I'm not that bad. I'm not that bad.
I had another guy that was trying to use the mouse with his foot.
Oh fuck. Oh God. Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm not that bad. I feel better about myself.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Sleepy.
Yeah, y'all good.
Cool.
Right.
I do feel better now. I do. Yeah, but I need like a lesson, like a whole ass college course on how the fuck to figure this shit out.
Right.
I'm
doing it
not good at it.
No, either.
But I do have good internet now. I have decent internet now. I'm so excited. I literally I ran the little internet speed test, which the first time Sleepy ever had me do that for him, he laughed at me because it was that bad. And I ran it. The first time I ran it, the guy had told me to wait for a few minutes because it was still like doing its thing, but I was impatient, so I ran it, and he was like, "No, you got to wait." Because at first I was like, "Oh, okay, that's okay, I guess."
Right.
And then I ran it again, and I was like,
"Oh, it's better than mine. It's better than mine.
Really, this is what it's like.
It's a shade better than mine, so you're good."
Is it?
Yeah. You're up.
You're on
about 2.
Dude, I'm so fancy.
Yeah, you are.
So you're good.
Got that clarity now. Shit.
I know, right? Which is actually kind of bad because like wrinkles and shit are now going to show up. Whatever. It is what it is. All right. So, okay. Tell everybody where they can find you. Obviously, Twitter, the show, all that stuff.
Yes. Which I'm also so bad at this because otherwise I'm just like, all right, thanks. Bye. You can find me on Slow News Day. And then on Twitter, I did change my handle. So it's Aly at Aly Alexandra. There's 2 A's at the end because I don't know. Aly Alexandra with one A was stolen, or it was not stolen. It was taken.
No more underscores.
Was stolen.
No, I Jesus Christ, I'm tired. It was stolen from me.
Your Twitter handle was occupied.
Yeah, exactly. No, I changed the underscores. Had to go. And you can also. I have some writing. I've been working lately. I'm really great at the self promotion stuff. Substack.
Terrible. That's why I'm making you do it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Substack .alyalexandra.com. But most of the time, Slow News Day. It's where I be. So,
Slow News Day. Great show. We love Steve. Sometimes. No, I love Steve all the time.
I still. It's cool it's great to be on there. This Sunday, I'm gonna shamelessly, we're gonna be on iHeartRadio.
So. Oh yeah,
with Whitney Webb.
Holy shit, with Whitney Webb.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that's our last.
We might as well go big, fams. Let's push the envelope right from jump, so they can't be like, wait, what's this? Right? No, like, we came at you right away.
Bringing her in. Yeah, it's at 12 p.m. Central Time on Josh Help, because I knew I should have come prepared and like.
Yeah, I think it's our normal.
I can link to it.
Or 10 a.m. Pacific.
I mean, I think we're gonna be streaming it anyway, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But you guys should definitely check it out.
Streaming like normal, but it's also gonna go to the radio. But I could be wrong. But that's
I think it's yes.
You guys should watch it on all the platforms, so that way you help boost the numbers. I'm just saying.
Yes, the Colin show Friday night. It's at 11 p.m. Eastern.
It's so late. I'm too old for that shit, y'all. Come on.
Yeah, I like the time. That's really fun. Last week, I wasn't on the one last week, but it definitely went over because people like to talk once they're on, which is great, but keep it a little shorter this time just to get more people, and so Josh can go to bed. And tomorrow we will be on with Franco, I believe, at 7 p.m. Eastern. Yes. So I'm going backwards, but that's the schedule.
Cool.
Yeah, another side projects coming up. So yeah, this was fun.
Well, you're welcome back anytime, because this was fun. I like bitching. I try. Oh, there's a stink bug. Sorry,
I hate those.
I know, like those. Just freaks me out. Anyways, but yeah, it's so much fun to bitch. Seriously, I mean, I hate to toot my own horn, but I love this show. Like, for me, again, selfishly, just for me, I love this show. It's fun to just bitch.
Yeah.
And it's fun to bitch with friends and people who think the same, or that I can have cool conversations with, or that at least understand the situation and all that stuff. And I want to have a bunch of different people on, people I don't agree with, people I do agree with, people that I don't like. I mean, I'm not going to give, don't expect any of my trolls on here, because
the trolls are okay, I'll do it.
No, they're not worth my spit.
No.
Yeah. So, just a little, I love this show. So next week we have Lucas, who has been on Facts on the Ground a couple of times, but he just did this monster, environmental law, just be prepared to get pissed off about the environment. So it's actually going to be more of a focused episode of bitch. We're going to be talking about a focused topic, which I don't know how that's going to work. It probably won't work out that way. We're going to get sidetracked, and there will be tangents and rants, and I have no doubt about that. So but Lucas will be on next week. So Aly, thank you for coming on. This was so much fun. I'm so glad that we finally got to do something, because it's weird that this is the first time.
I know.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, guys. I guess we'll just see you next week. Don't forget to check out Sleepy's buy me a coffee thingamajig for sure. And the billboards, for the love of God, the billboards. Assange billboards. Please donate, share, all that good stuff. Okay. Anyways, see you guys next week.